on the tools already in your hands. I watched a neighbor this morning searching through a cluttered drawer for something he could not name. He opened one after another, growing frustrated, certain that the thing he needed was somewhere just out of reach. Meanwhile, the task that had brought him to the drawer in the first place sat waiting patiently on the table. It occurred to me that most of us live this way, rummaging for what we think we lack, while everything we truly need rests quietly within arm's reach. You have been given the most extraordinary set of instruments. Consider them for a moment, not with the dull familiarity of someone who has always had them, but with the fresh eyes of someone encountering them for the first time. You have reason, which can untangle the most knotted problems. You have memory, which carries forward everything you have loved and learned. You have imagination, which lets you stand in places you have never been and understand lives you have never lived. You have the capacity to choose, which is perhaps the sharpest tool of all. And yet, how often do you set these down and go searching for something else entirely? We are, I must say, a wonderfully absurd species. We are handed a workshop full of fine instruments and spend our days wishing the walls were painted a different color. I do not write this to scold you. I write it because I have done the same thing for years, and I suspect you have too. And there is something both humbling and liberating about admitting it. We look at others and believe they were given better material to work with. A sharper mind, a steadier temperament, a life with fewer fractures in it. But I have watched many people with every apparent advantage build nothing of substance. And I have watched others, working with what seemed like very little, construct lives of astonishing beauty. The difference was never in the raw material, it was in whether they picked up what they had and began. Think of your senses alone. You can walk outside this very morning and feel the air move against your skin. You can watch light arrive in that slow, golden way it does when the world is still waking up. You can hold a warm cup between your hands and feel the heat travel through your palms and into your chest like a small, quiet promise. You can hear rain before you see it. You can smell bread from 2 rooms away and be transported instantly to some kitchen from your childhood that you thought you had forgotten. These are not small gifts. These are breathtaking capacities that most of us treat the way a child treats a priceless instrument, banging on it carelessly, never learning what music it might actually make. I say this with great tenderness, because I am that child too. We all are. But we can learn. That is the beautiful part. We can always learn. Now, of all the tools you carry, the one I want you to hold up to the light today is this: your ability to choose your response. Things will happen to you. They already have, and they will continue to, with the cheerful indifference that the world shows to all of our careful plans. The rain does not consult your schedule. Illness does not wait for a convenient season. People you love will sometimes behave in ways that baffle and wound you, not because they are cruel, but because they are human, which is a complicated and sometimes clumsy thing to be. You cannot control any of this, but you can choose what you do next. You can choose whether to meet difficulty with bitterness or with steadiness. You can choose whether to let disappointment harden into resentment or soften into understanding. This is not a small power. This is, in many ways, the only power that matters. And it is already yours. It has always been yours. There is another tool I want to mention, one that is easily overlooked because it does not feel like a tool at all. I mean your capacity for wonder. You were born with it. Watch any small child encounter a puddle or a beetle, or a patch of sunlight on the floor, and you will see wonder in its purest form. Somewhere along the way, most of us set this down. We decided it was childish or impractical, or simply too vulnerable a way to move through the world. But wonder is not a luxury. It is a lens, and when you look through it, everything changes. The night sky becomes not just darkness, but an unfathomable depth that has been burning for longer than your mind can hold. A single conversation with someone you love becomes not just pleasant, but miraculous. Two separate consciousnesses somehow reaching across the gap between them and making contact. Wonder does not make you naive. It makes you accurate. The world really is that astonishing. You have simply forgotten. The way we forget that we are breathing until someone reminds us. Let me tell you what I think happens when you begin to use what you already have. Something shifts. Not dramatically, not all at once, but in the way that a river changes the shape of stone. You stop waiting for permission. You stop scanning the horizon for the thing that will finally make your life begin. You look down at your own two hands and realize they are capable and warm and ready. You plant the garden with the seeds you actually have. You write the letter with the words you actually know. You love the people in front of you with the heart you actually possess, imperfect and scarred and magnificent as it is. And the strangest thing occurs. It is enough. Not in a resigned way, not in the way of someone settling for less, but in the deep, surprising way of someone who has finally stopped searching the drawer and sat down to do the work. There is a peace in this that I cannot fully describe, only point toward. The way you might point toward a sunset and trust that the other person will see it. I want to say one more thing, and I want you to hear it plainly. You have spent time, perhaps a great deal of time, believing that you are not yet ready. That you need something more before you can begin in earnest. One more lesson, one more year, one more experience that will finally make you equal to the life you envision. I understand this feeling. It is one of the most human feelings there is. But it is also, forgive me, a gentle form of hiding. You are ready now. Not because you are perfect, but because perfection was never the requirement. The requirement is willingness. The requirement is showing up with what you have and using it honestly, even clumsily, even with trembling hands. A candle does not wait until it can illuminate the whole room. It simply lights the corner where it stands. And that, it turns out, is more than sufficient to find your way. So here is my quiet challenge to you today. Do not go looking for new tools. Pick up the ones already in your hands. Use your reason to see clearly. Use your senses to notice what is beautiful. Use your power of choice to respond with grace. Use your wonder to remember that being alive, right now, in this particular body, on this particular morning, is a staggering and unrepeatable gift. The drawer is closed. The table is clear. The work is waiting. And you, my dear friend, have everything you need.